Holland, Director of Economic Research at Moody Analytics. She's with me this evening from London. Thank you for being with us in your late evening. Really, let's break this into really two areas, if we may, because you've got the developed world, if you will, the large corporate structures, and then you've got the developing world, which has a completely same problem, but different set of factors. If we just look at the developed world, large companies, why are we still talking about this?
That's a very good question. I guess it's because there is no sort of silver bullet that magically sort of does away with gender imbalances. What we've been looking at is, gender gaps in labor force participation, and in particular, the share of women in middle and senior level management positions, which remain really very wide across the world, across developed, across developing countries alike. And over the last decade, we've really not seen a very significant, from one country to another, we may have seen progress, right, but at the sort of broad global level, progress has been very slow.
Right. So what do you need to get progress? For as long as I can remember, we've talked on this, and there has been, as you say, incremental improvement, and every now and again there will be some totemic case or that everybody will grab onto. But what is it that needs fundamentally to happen? Since there are laws on the books in many cases, there is a cultural and a societal shift. What's next?
So policy can help. So one of the factors that's consistently pointed to as holding women back from progressing more rapidly in the workforce is that they tend to societally bear a heavier share of family responsibilities. And there are policies that can help to redress the way that impacts their involvement with the labor market. And you look at countries where childcare costs are low, where both men and women have access to parental leave on an equal basis, and where there's greater flexibility in the workforce. So countries, these all have shown to narrow the gender gaps that we see in the labor market.
So let's assume we put all of those things in place. Do you still believe that there is, for want of a crude phrase, just rampant sexism in a sense in a male-dominated environment that basically plays into this? When decisions are made, middle and senior management, board decisions, that the old boys club still holds some sway?
Well, I wouldn't like to put it in those terms exactly, but definitely sort of studies that have looked at this have found that in general women are less likely to ask for promotion, and are often held to higher standards than men, so which has made it more difficult for them to advance in the workforce. I mean, if you look at, for example, the qualifications of men versus women across almost all developed economies, and in a large number of emerging economies as well, we find that actually there are more women holding higher level degrees than there are men. So they're making this upfront larger investment in their skills and qualifications and education at an early age, but are still landing in lower level and lower productivity and lower wage jobs relative to their male counterparts with the same educational background.
Would it help? I mean, I see, for example, here in New York, where I am, the law is now you have to show the range of salaries for a job now, and people, of course, are much more open about discussing, or at least there are websites where people can find out what salaries are. But I suppose it still relies on the candidate sort of saying, "Oi, I believe I'm being underpaid for that job."
Well, I think that's a very good point. And in fact, in sectors where there is greater transparency in pay, for example, in some international organizations, etc., you do see that there has been there's less of a sort of a wage gap for people performing the same level of work that you see in the private sector, where the sort of complete sort of lack of transparency in wages is definitely a hindrance to equality.
Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you for this evening from London. Thank you, Dawn. As we continue.